Chris is not watching Superman and Lois. Well, unfortunately, we have to have like days where we have certain shows that we're reviewing week to week, but we don't always know who's going to be available to be a guest on that day. So I don't know who's going to be able to, then they'd have to start the show from the beginning. So you got to kind of bear with us while me and Miracle pick this one apart.
I'll critique your critique.
There you go. In this episode, synopsis-wise, basically Clark is dealing with Bizarro Superman along with John Henry Irons as Steel. His daughter is helping him rebuild the Steel suit, and also kind of still coming to terms with the fact that they're in this place where they weren't at before, and they're getting used to living here again. She's developing a friendship with Jonathan,
who's taking super meth.
That we talked about last time. It's literally, they said it's like, what did they call it? But last time they're like, it's a crystal. It's like a crystal that only grows in Smallville.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, super meth.
Exactly.
So I don't want to know what Super Tweaker looks like, but we're eventually going to find that out.
Well, if you watch in this episode, you kind of see it in Jonathan, because like his eyes turn like solid black, like his pupils like basically expand to the point where like he can see far out. And I'm like, I don't think that's how it works.
But he's definitely looks like he's coming down off something. And then Jordan is reinitiating his relationship with the girl who cheated on him because simp, and because and then he also is going on his own journey with his powers, where he's going to work with his grandfather, General Lane, to develop his powers, because they feel like with Bizarro Superman having this being so formidable against Clark, that he feels like he needs to be ready. And they didn't do the thing where he's like, you're not ready. Like, he's like, yeah, sure, I'll train you. Like, I thought they were going to make a bigger deal about that. And then, of course, the weakest story, I think, is the Cushing's political ambitions, as Lana Lang is running for mayor of a town.
Don't forget Sarah's quinceañera.
And then there's weird comments about Sarah having a quinceañera, where they act as if nobody in Smallville has ever heard of such a thing, because they think they're pretending like they can't resist taking shots and act like this is America in the 50s or the 40s, and act like these people have never actually experienced anything outside of their small town before. And then we also got some info about the husband, about Kyle. Kyle? Is that his guy?
His name is Kyle.
Kyle Cushing at the end. And then some stuff with the big story I left till the end is the number one through line, other than Clark's story, is Lois Lane's sister makes her appearance in this, Lucy Lane. I
legit think they only added that storyline to make fun of the actress who played in Smallville, where she was in the cult.
This is like a cult storyline, but they're also drawing it into. Now, I knew this had to happen. Basically, they're calling Lois's journalistic integrity into
fake
question
news,
because she wrote this story about this cult leader as a way of trying to get her sister out of this cult. And I don't think I heard the term fake news. I did hear what I literally wrote it down because it made me laugh so much. It said, that sounds like bias. The sister says to her, and also they use the word so it's literally phrased as like this cult leader. It's this lady who's got this real. Her name is Raya Kilstead, who's got the character's name's Allie Alston, but she's got a real Robin Wright in House of Cards thing going on with her look, and she uses the term canceled, and it's just really what I found is that I don't even hate these types of like what we would call woke storylines. I hate buzzwords. That's what takes me out of all. It's like nobody writes evergreen anymore. Everybody writes as if it's current year, and the goal you should have is that in 10 years the dialogue won't sound hokey. Right?
Yeah, you're turning it into a period piece. That's the worst. That's the worst. I hate that too. I
blame Joss Whedon for that, for the incessant need to have pop culture references in everything that he does. Though oddly enough, that does a better job of being evergreen, because technically when they use those references, it tends to be stuff that stand the test of time. Back to the Future, Star Wars, things that everybody knows of, even if it's not current year. But when they're using words like I said, implicit bias and canceled and all this stuff, I'm like, you just sound like a Twitter head in 2022, and that doesn't really work for me. that is few. It's not as bad as some shows, so I'll give them that. The melodrama is to be expected. Whether you've got they've kind of eased up on Lois and Clark fighting, which is good because that was the worst part of the first episode, is Lois just being an absolute dick to Clark the whole time, and Clark being an absolute, he just lets it happen because he can't, if he fights back, he's going to hurt somebody. I do think that having Lana run for mayor, they used a line, I kid you not, last week they said, get a woman to do a mayor's job, and I literally almost turned the show off. I was like, these they're acting as if no woman has ever been mayor of a town before.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if any of these writers have ever actually lived outside of their Hollywood bubble, Like
right.
they really don't know that believe it or not, there's women and there's people of color that are in politics all over this country. But if you watch stuff like this, you'd act like she was the Rosa Parks of female politicians, and she's about to break the glass ceiling here in Smallville. I will say that the guy they have as the mayor, who they're having play a scummy mayor, is fantastic as scummy mayor. He doesn't get much to do, but he's very good when he has to be scummy asshole mayor. Yeah, and I like that. They're hinting at a storyline where Kyle has had, I'm guessing that was an affair they're trying to hint at.
It was an affair.
They think it's about the scummy mayor guy is a guy who likes tequila as much as you, or something like that. You think they're gonna call out his the fact that he's her husband, Lana Lang's husband, and this is a recovering alcoholic, which I think they've actually handled quite well.
Yeah,
he's overcome. They made it like a storyline, but they didn't make it like an after school special. He's still a husband. He's still a father. He has his struggles, but he's currently sober, and that's really all you can ask of storytelling like this, to not turn it into edutainment. But I thought they were going to make it about that, and they ended up making it about this. He's worried that Lana's worried that his drinking is going to come out. He's worried that what I'm assuming is this affair is going to come out, because he goes into this bar that he used to go to, and the bartender and him share this moment. I'm getting through this first because I do think that it's a waste of Emmanuel Shrieky, who's a fantastic actress in this role. I'd rather see her on another show as a lead character than playing second tier on the show. The guy who plays Kyle is Eric Valdez, is very good as the husband. He was very annoying in season 1, but he was supposed to be. Now in season 2, he's playing this redemption arc, and he fits that role really, really well. The biggest loser in all of it is the guy who plays John Henry Irons, who gets two scenes an episode, and he's the best part of every scene he's in. And this character of Steel is good enough to have its own show. Yeah, and they can have a multiverse where Shaq comes back and plays Steel again.
Right? That would be awesome.
Be
I'm catching up right now by just kind of watching some scenes from this series that I didn't even know existed. Yeah, so it's pretty interesting.
They didn't really advertise it because I didn't know about it until Brett told me.
And it's killing in the ratings compared to everything else in the CW. It's the only one that breaks 1 million consistently. I think it was just under last week, but it's still most of those shows do 400,000, 500,000
right,
views.
Right.
I don't know how they. What I can tell you now is that season 1's budget was backed by HBO Max.
Yeah.
So there was a lot more action this season. They've kept the same level of CGI as far as quality. There was one really bad shot of John Henry Irons flying forward that looked really fake. It was all their budget. They did. Have you ever seen any of the Iron Man movies?
Yeah.
Where Iron Man literally jumps into his suit almost.
Yeah.
They did this on a TV budget last week, and it looked really, really good. And I think that's where all the money went, because this week they just had him flying in the suit, and it looked really bad. So I think they're in this constant the teen drama and the family drama, which admittedly, with the name of a show like Superman and Lois, it's not just about Superman, is going to take precedence. But a lot of that has to do with they just don't have the budget for long-term CGI fight scenes. They're fighting in, what was it, Peru or something this episode? Yeah. So it's a barren salt flat. It's we had a studio, we had to literally paste the walls with green screen. That's all they could afford. Why aren't they fighting in the front lawn? Because it's easier to animate the barren salt flats.
Yeah.
It flowed pretty well. I really hated the cult stuff.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
That actress, the actress who plays Lucy, is actually she first appeared in Supergirl, and she's the only one to reprise her role other than Tyler Hoechlin and Bitsy Tulloch.
Yeah.
The only one that's portrayed the same character in this show. This one's technically supposed to be taking place on another Earth in the multiverse. So it's really weird that they brought her back, and they're saying she's nothing, from what I read, because I didn't watch Supergirl, she's nothing like her character in Supergirl, so I'm wondering if they're going to do Bizarro Lucy, just like they're doing Bizarro Superman.
Right.
Well, Supergirl wasn't a bad series until like CW went downhill later seasons.
No, it was a bad series.
No, I like
CW starts downhill, in my view. So
it started on CBS.
I see.
It looked better in season 1, and
Yeah.
there was slightly less agenda because CBS, as far as age demographics, skews way up there.
Right.
As far as like your, those are you're gonna have to deal with that. That's
Quite a shock.
CBS, as far as their demographics, skews way higher in age than your average network.
That is true, but CBS does produce really good TV shows sometimes.
No, they don't.
Oh, really?
These are legacy media companies. How I don't understand how anybody can watch ABC, CBS, NBC,
At least they
Fox.
haven't in a while. Person of Interest was CBS, and it felt like a show that deserved to be on cable, but it was a Jonathan Nolan creation. And that goes a long way when you're, it was Jonathan Nolan, it was J.J. Abrams produced it, but wasn't involved in the writing, thank God.
Is Jonathan Nolan a Christopher
Nolan's brother?
Okay, so that's like 3 allergies piling up, so 3 strikes for me.
The British,
the Nolan, and legacy media. Yeah.
He's I love Jonathan. I was not a fan of Westworld season 2, but that's purely preference.
They made Scorpion and Limitless. I'm just searching it up.
What did you just say?
No, she's right.
I'm dying.
One of the I mentioned it. I don't know if it was an episode you were on. One of the greatest tragedies that's ever been in a world where Batwoman gets 3 seasons. The fact that the Limitless TV show only got 1 is a tragedy I will never understand. It was so incredibly good for something that was literally like taken, it's everything you expect like a show based on a movie would be. They can't afford to get Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
He makes like 4 episode appearances, but they have to get actors that aren't his level of it had Jennifer Carpenter from Dexter.
Yep.
It had I always forget his name. He was from Covert Affairs, and he was from CSI New York, and he was from I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but it had these really great TV actors, right?
Yeah.
And there's no way the show should have worked, but it absolutely did. And
but it's a good premise.
It was a fantastic premise,
yeah.
And it only got 1 season. And in a world where, like I said, where Batwoman gets 3 seasons, that's a tragedy to me, but that was a CBS show. Scorpion was a CBS show.
Yep. Also, Star Trek was on CBS.
Yeah, but that's like old.
Oh, okay, fine.
We're talking current year network shows. Are
then
like
current year, Drawn Together, that cartoon series where they make satire about all cartoon series. Like they made fun of Betty Boop, where she's this old woman who's trying to live like her olden times, where like she used to be the star, but she's a little bit fatter. And then they made fun of Disney because they have like a Disney princess, but like she curses.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
The guardrails that are placed on these legacy media products are just too distasteful for me. I just can't watch it.
That's true.
But one thing that you mentioned that was very interesting. So there may be a potential metaverse angle in the Superman series.
Yes.
So that means that potentially there could be a Dean Cain Superman that shows up. There could be hologram.
I think he did show up in the,
really
in when they did Crisis on Infinite Earths. I think he did. I don't know if he did, but I know for a fact that Brandon Routh became super. What do you call it? He did his. He reinvigorated his 2006 Superman Returns character, and then they got all the versions. Like they got Tom Welling back as Clark Kent. So I mean, it's still the CW. It's still not really well written, but they got the original. The guy who played the original Flash. To come back.
No kidding.
For the Flash TV show as Barry's dad.
You see, I'm old enough to remember that series.
Yes.
And Lois and Clark.
Yes.
The ABC series, right?
Yeah. They were able to bring in, they were able to negotiate Tom Ellis to come in as Lucifer all the way over from Netflix.
Nice.
So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And they even had Ezra Miller come in and shake Barry's hand on that show for like, I'm sure they could afford about 1/8 of a day of Ezra Miller's.
Right.
But I'm guessing because they're all under contract through the same media companies.
Sure,
it's all Warner Brothers in the end. Before they were, I think that was prior to their sale to Discovery.
Any chance that Terry Hatcher made an appearance?
I don't think so.
As an alternate Lois?
I don't think she did.
Well, boy can dream.
But they brought back all these characters, and the problem is when you do, they even had the guy who I always forget his name, the guy who voices Bruce Wayne from Batman Beyond, the very famous Bruce Wayne who did in the animated series in Beyond. They had him play live action Batman Beyond without a costume, but just old Bruce Wayne.
That's
and they
cool.
they ruined it.
Not cool.
They turned him into an asshole. It's awful.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was like that all fell apart there. Plus they ruined Oliver Queen's character in that show at the end, and that's the first 2 seasons of Arrow stand up against any superhero TV show being made right now. That's for sure. I do think that going forward they should focus more on Superman versus Bizarro. I know that's wishful thinking because the budget just isn't there to do. Tyler Hoechlin does a good job as both Superman and Bizarro Superman. That's more of his acting range than him. I made the comment last week, whenever he's like fighting with Lois, he sounds like Napoleon Dynamite. He's like, I don't know, Lois. God. Like, he's a very handsome dude, but I don't think that type of drama is really his strong suit.
Yeah.
Playing stoic, kind of caring dad works for him, but fighting with Lois isn't really a strong suit. But he does do the bits where he's like having the migraines, the Bizarro migraines well. I'm guessing that Lucy will end up being more important down the line. If she did 15 episodes of the original Supergirl, I'm sure she'll be down to come back for this. I did laugh that they mentioned the dark web. That's something I point out whenever these networks mention the dark web. It's like you want this big scary music to play in the background, and they literally use the term, where do you go? Now they're talking about after Lois ruins the reputation of this cult leader. She says, where do you go when your mainstream credibility is ruined? And Lois goes, the internet. And then she goes, but not just, the other girl goes, but not just the internet, the dark web. And I'm just like...
So that qualifies as one of those buzz terms that really gets under your skin.
They never explain. They don't know how to explain it. They're just like, "Ooh, it's like they literally picture it as if you open your computer browser and it's just a black screen that says dark web right there. Like they don't explain. Like they don't know how to explain that what a Tor network is or anything like this. They're just like it's like you just go to darkweb.com and that's the dark web somehow.
How much weirder would it have been if she'd been like the intellectual dark web?
That would have been amazing.
Like, what?
And then Jordan, it's like Lois doing interviews with Jordan Peterson. It's like, you got to be a bloody monster.
That's great.
He's like, I told him to be a bloody monster, and now he's Bizarro Superman, and it's all Jordan Peterson's fault.
I love
What
it.
if in this universe Jordan Peterson created Bizarro Superman?
That'd be so cool.
That's a Marvel DC crossover because Jordan Peterson is the Red Skull.
Yes,
right?
yes. Oh my, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Somebody
write that fanfic, please, where Jordan Peterson is both Red
Fanfic.
Skull and the creator of the self-help group that creates Bizarro Superman somehow.
I don't know.
I'm so down.
For me, this whole episode, it's not my favorite because there was a lot of throwaway things.
Season 1 was so good. But
Yeah.
I just the reason we're covering this is, like you said before, you'd never heard of it, and Season 1 was delightfully Smallville-esque. Very little agenda, very little in the way of buzz terms, just family, the family finding out that Superman is their dad, and then Superman, Clark Kent, dealing with the trouble and the difficulties of being both Superman and a parent to 2 boys and a husband, right?
Yeah.
Now they're introducing they're introducing these elements. Since General Lane is gone, there's this new guy named General Anderson, right? Is it Anderson? Who the actor who plays him is lovably bad as a bad guy. He's very much like a handsome CW bad guy. Even though he's a United States general in the military, or is a colonel or something like that. They're like he wants Superman to be like America's Superman, and Superman's like, I gotta help the world, which draws into how they're changing his motto from truth, justice, and the American way to truth, justice, and a better tomorrow, which is the most Fortune 500 saying I've ever heard in my entire life.
Globalist Superman.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which you would think is part of a globalist agenda, but it's really more about them not wanting to pay the families of the creators of Superman more money.
Wow.
So it's actually
interesting.
more money related. It's even it's even more cynical than you would think. It's even less to do with a crazy globalist agenda and more to do with just the fact that Siegel's family just doesn't deserve the money, right? So it's why they're changing It's why Captain America gets his revamp, and they just got to prevent. They got to prevent from paying these Spider-Man or Miles Morales.
Of course, yeah.
Yep. It's even more cynical, which makes me laugh.
Also, you missed the part where Jordan he stops two robbers in
with
the grocery store.
Yeah, with his girlfriend. Oh, yeah. and they do draw attention to they were going to bring up that apparently Sarah, the girl who cheated on Jordan, who last week. I'm going to explain it to him anyways.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I kind of lost
it
it last week because they have this thing where she admits that she kissed a girl literally at summer camp. It's the most 2000 and the whole episode her family's validating her and telling he doesn't have a right to be mad because he doesn't understand. They're literally excusing the fact that she's cheating by making it seem like it's about the fact that she kissed a girl.
Yeah.
And it's no, it's that you kissed anyone other than your boyfriend.
Huh.
And her mom's if he doesn't understand, then he doesn't deserve you. I'm the parents literally it's such a fail in parenting, but it's I felt like maybe this is just me projecting, but I could literally see the actress it felt like she's this doesn't really make any sense.
Right. It doesn't make sense to me just hearing it.
But it's that idea that they really do think that we care whether somebody is dating someone of the same sex. Nobody cares anymore, dude.
Right.
Nobody. It's long past that time where people actually give a crap about that. They do care, however, if you cheat on the person you're dating.
Right.
That's a problem. And now they're kids. They're 15-year-old kids. There's room for forgiveness, obviously, but they're sending the wrong message by validating her and excusing her behavior because it was with a girl.
That makes no sense.
No, it doesn't.
That's so
make
peculiar.
sense.
My hope is that they realize that, and then that doesn't play a role later on. Though my suspicion is that she's going to end up getting involved with Steele's with John Henry Iron's daughter. What's her Natalie?
So they're trying to set that up. You think?
Yeah, I think that's what they're doing. Jordan is I wrote one thing down that I thought was very important. The boys have very distinct personalities, and I like that.
Yeah,
they don't have interchangeable. One is very clearly a jock. And you'd expect him to be the one who got the powers, but it isn't. The other one is socially awkward, has a girlfriend, but she's very clearly wears the pants in the relationship if she can cheat on him and then somehow make him he apologized. At the end of the episode last week, he apologized for being mad at her. It's incredible.
Dumb.
It's incredible.
It's so dumb.
So
I hate that. They made him apologize for something that wasn't his fault. It was her fault. But they're I'm sorry, here's a necklace.
Yes. Oh, man.
Because I am a masculine man. I'm a cis white gendered man.
You have to.
And I'm sorry.
Yep.
Buzzword.
Yeah.
So it's we'll see. The storylines going forward, I hope they get through the election stuff as quickly as possible. I don't want that to drag out all season. I guess it will because this isn't a 22 episode series. It's it's a 15 or 16 episode series. Wow. So they'll probably carry it out through the whole thing. But looking forward, I'm excited to see where at least the Superman versus Bizarro Superman storyline goes.
That's the part I'm really excited because I forgot who you were talking to. I think it was you where you said Bizarro is really scary in the comic books. Or was that somebody else?
Somebody else.
No.
Okay. But yeah, I'm kind of excited because I want to see how scary they can make this character.
Yep.
Because if they can do Bizarro, can they bring who's the zombie one? I forgot what his name was. It's not he's the zombie something. He's really freaky. They had him in Justice League, the cartoon series, where he had the love story with Hawkgirl.
I don't know.
Never mind. I'll remember it somehow.
Yep. So we'll see.
But I really want to see them do a scary universe of DC.
More of that, more of Superman and Bizarro Superman. If they're going to do Jordan stuff, cut out the stuff with Sarah, as much of the stuff with Sarah as possible, and go straight to him training with General Lane. Get through the Lana, and it's gonna. I'd almost rather it be about Kyle cheating than about the election stuff, but that's because we're hypersensitive to anything involving that stuff right now because it's just you can tell that the agenda gets thicker when they get into stuff like that. I guarantee you there will be. I kid you not. We should take bets right now. Will there be stuff about election integrity when they actually have the election?
I don't want to take it. You keep your.
I bet you they will.
I don't know. Maybe they'll just sidestep it.
That would be my hope. My hope is that the writers, excuse me, read the room enough to know how do you make such a good first season and then start pushing that stuff out in season? But that's what I said my worry was, is like the problem is when they make these shows, a movie, you only have an hour and a half, 2 hours to tell your story. But now once you get into season 2, you've told the story that inspired you to make the show in the first place, and now you start going into all this crap that nobody cares about, and that's how it is.
That happens a lot.
It happens a lot.
You have to have all that filler, especially when you're doing 15, 16 episodes. That's crazy. But that first season, though, acts as a gateway drug.
Yes,
you know?
It gets you hooked.
And I'm always so skeptical when a season 2 comes out, especially when there's like a really stellar, like almost mini series. That's the first season. But just a quick little interjection, because this is something that's really kind of taken over my life, is season 2 of Euphoria. That is one series. Like, I was just like, I don't need to see a second season of this. Like, the first season was really awesome and cinematic. I was just like, there's no reason to revisit these characters. But so far, the second season has just been astonishing, and that's really rare to pull off. And it sounds like this Superman show hasn't done that.
We did a topic on that. I can't watch shows like that because of anything drug related. I find particularly triggering. But we covered it about how Dare was like criticizing the show, as if Dare has any
glorifying
leg to stand on.
Drug use.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see going forward. I'm guessing there will be an off week here at some point. We're due for they don't just do 16 weeks straight. They eventually take a break. So we will keep our eye open for that.
I don't know. I'm hoping it might be better, because I don't like the quality of season 2, like how you said. That's how they hook you. Season 1, really good.
It's
season
really
2,
tough to pull off.
I warned you. So that's usually it starts to go downhill in season 2, but we will see. Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.
Bye.